All right. Good morning. It is game day. It is the Lions and the Titans today. It's going to be a good game. Of course, I'm not going to be there today. Handed off some tickets to a special guest of the podcast, Paul Orazzetti. So if you guys remember the interview I did with Paul talking about Giovanni Manu had to be shortly after the draft. But I promised him, I said, hey, man, if you can ever make a game, you just let me know. I really wanted to go. I really did, but unfortunately, with health this week, it's just not. It's not been nice to me. So I decided to stay home today, and I was invited to go to dinner tonight. So if I dip out of this live stream today, that might be why. But driving 6 hours back and forth to go to dinner with Giovanni Manu tonight would be epic in its own right. But I just got to feel it. I got to feel good. I hate to miss out on an opportunity like that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But today it's all about the pregame. What have we just learned about the Detroit Lions? Well, we're going to learn a lot today. We're going to learn a lot about, well, let's see. Tennessee, Titans inactives, Will Levis, so they're going to get Mason Rudolph. Tyjae Spears downgraded out on Saturday. So them not having any sort of a dynamic running back, really, there's really no running game for them anyway. I mean, they have Tony Pollard. He's pretty good, but they just haven't been able to move the ball. Tight end David Martin Robinson for the Titans is out. Tight end Thomas Odukoye is out. Offensive tackle Petty Ferrer is out. And linebacker Jerome Baker and cornerback, this is a big one, ruled out on Friday, L'Jarius Sneed. So the Titans' two top cornerbacks, Chibode Awuzie and L'Jarius Sneed, should be out for this game. I believe Chibode Awuzie was moved to IR a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check that. Let's double check that. Yeah, he's still on IR, so that hasn't changed. But good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? You guys ready for this win today? Because you know it's going to be a win. Has to be. First game back at home in a few weeks. Got the Blueberries on today. It's going to be an epic showdown in Motown, as it always is. Everyone's rocking and rolling at the tailgates already. I seen Eric posted a picture about 8 o'clock this morning. He's ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a fun day for all the Motor City Gritters out in Detroit today. We're going to get this epic win. We need it. We need to capitalize on the NFC North while we can. And, the loss of Jameson Williams, it is what it is. It is. That's all I can really say. It is what it is. Watching all of his highlights the last couple of days. It's been a lot of highlights posted, everywhere, whether it's been Twitter or Facebook. People miss him already. He hasn't even missed a game yet. People miss him already. He's had a profound effect on Detroit Lions fans for being able to put together a couple of good games. So he will be missed today. But how much will he be missed? That's the question. Who do we have in place of Jameson Williams that is going to step up today? And I think that there's no surprise here that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have really built, like they talk about, a 69-man roster, and they do it for a reason. And this is why. Next year, Dan, do me a favor. Don't say that you're going to use everybody on a 69-man roster to start the season, because you said it this year and you've almost used everybody. So we've only got a few guys left on the practice squad that have not been called up to a game yet. So maybe next year, let's not say that. I don't know. I'm just saying, they say you put things out there and it comes back. Maybe say we'll use like 2 or 3 guys off the practice squad next year, but they should all be ready. I don't know. But Tim Patrick's in. He should be starting today. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, Khalif Raymond, Jahmyr Gibbs. Dude's been electric. Allen Robinson getting his call up today. Again, Isaiah Williams. This is going to be a big day for him. Is he going to be able to show out? Is he going to be another slot merchant with Amon-Ra St. Brown? We're going to find out today. Lions inactives. Jameson Williams, of course, and then Josh Paschal, and I'm going to come back to him in just a moment. Tight end Parker Hess, Parker Hess, which tells me that the Lions are not worried about the run game today at all. They're not gonna stack the box back there and get that extra blocker, but they're probably going to utilize more tight end sets, or it could be single sets back there. We'll see. I expect a lot of run today. Right tackle Kobe Sorsdahl, he's inactive. Giovanni Manu is inactive, and then safety Lawrence Strickland is just not needed today. Lions are bringing up a few extra guys. to cover the defensive end position, which is depleted. There was a funny meme that came out the other day. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it said, "We are no longer Detroit. We are just Troyt, Troyt, because we have no more DEs." I thought that was kind of funny, but not really, because looking at this defensive depth chart here, all I see is Broderick Martin, IR, Kyle Pecco, IR, David Bada, IR, Aiden Hutchinson, IR, John Kaminsky, IR, Derek Barnes, IR, Fetu Melifanu, IR, Emmanuel Mosley, IR. It's terrible. And the way that the Lions have just kind of, grown together and figured out a way to win in these games where their back is just up against the wall, doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. So, if you can't tell, I'm struggling with the breathing today. They got me on all sorts of steroids, and I hate steroids, man. They make you look fat and bloated and feel like crap. So it is what it is. James Houston, he's got to have a big day today. He has to. He has to show us against this Tennessee Titans offense that, I mean, to be honest with you, it's not the greatest offensive line. He should be able to have some success. But if he doesn't, what does that mean this last week that we're headed into the trade deadline? I can't see where the Lions are going to trade James. I think we should just get that out of our head. I don't think he's worth anything, or at least enough to make a trade that makes sense for somebody that knows the defense. All game streaming, you could eat a fat one. You guys are so stupid. You guys are so dumb. I'll never understand. Nobody's clicking on your stuff, man. You've done nothing but just spam my chat. That's it. That's all you did. You got nothing with it. No one's clicking on it. They're not dumb. All right. So before I come back to Josh Paschal, so there was an interesting stat the other day, and I believe I posted it on Twitter today or this morning. But you guys know I talk about the interior of the defensive line is the pathway. It's the success, or it's the pathway to have success against quarterbacks and getting pressure. It always has been, always will be. I am not surprised that there's interior defensive linemen that are leading in sack totals right now. I'm not surprised one bit. And if we think that sacks are the end all be all to win games, I would say that we are wrong, because it's more or less it's being dedicated to your craft, but being disciplined within the scheme. Above all else, it's just playing disciplined football, winning your one-on-ones if you can win them, and just being there to make the play. You don't have to go above and beyond. You don't have to try extra hard to get a sack, which can take you out of a play. You just got to go and win your one-on-one. You just got to do your damn job, like Dan Campbell says. So to see the interior defensive linemen are leading the way with sack numbers, I'm not surprised. And I think we're seeing another trend, right? For a couple of years, we saw defensive ends just explode onto the scene, probably 5 to 7 years out of the last decade. I'd say post 2014, it started to change a little bit. Defensive ends were a few really good ones entered the league, since like 2010. And it's been a minute. I mean, there's always been a couple here or there, but we had a rash of defensive ends entered the league. And you saw a change in the way that the defenses were starting to scheme up against quarterbacks. So I think it's just kind of inherently built that in the back of your brain to think, man, we have to have defensive ends. That's all we have to have. That's all we need. Well, what about the other guys? It always used to be linebackers. It used to be before that, it was safeties. I mean, you had some of the best safeties in football that were making big plays. So there's many ways to get there. Many ways to get there. But I think by having a very sound defense, a technically sound defense, and a defense that is playing to the scheme, they're going to be just fine. Now, I'm not saying that our defense is not in trouble, because it is. We're not playing, teams today or a team today that should be that difficult. But at the same time, you just never know. It's the game of football. I mean, if you listen to my interview with Riley O'Brien. There's many reasons why I have passion and love for this game, and I think that the most unique part of it is there's an isolation factor to this game that the game rewards those that put forth the work, right? So there's that part of this game that I love so much that you're going to see on display each and every week. So each and every week, it could be a different result. You might just have a couple of guys that just go above and beyond. And I know just a minute ago I said you don't have to go above and beyond, but winning their one-on-ones going above and beyond is different than playing outside of the scheme. Can't be a freelancer in this game. You really can't. It doesn't work. Not when things are so technically different today. And what I mean by that is timing routes. You got so many offenses that are running more timing. It's not just, run and chuck it up. It's not college football. So big players of the day today have to be Aleem, has to be DJ Reader. We should see a bigger game out of Jack Campbell today. Would love to see Malcolm Rodriguez continue what he did last week. And then Trevor Nowaski. I mean, he had a really, really solid game last week. Pretty tough offensive line that the Lions went up against. Excuse me. Brian Branch, he's going to be doing his thing back there. Kirby Joseph, back in the fold. He's ready to go. Terrion Arnold is getting better week by week by week. So this is a game where I expect the Lions to add some polish. We are in week 8. We are almost halfway through the season. The first, 5, 6, 7 weeks, you are grinding. You're figuring it out. You're getting better. You're honing in the craft, right? Everything is making a little bit more sense. You know who's who. You're starting to learn each other a little bit more. You got a defensive backfield that really has to learn each other. Now it's time to add that first coat of polish on it, right? Let's shine it up a little bit. Now it's time to put the extra into this game. Buff it out. Learn a few things. Get in. Get the victory. Get out. Hopefully healthy. But learn something today is what they need to do. They need to learn themselves a little bit more today. Because next week against the Packers, it's not going to be an easy game. Not going to be an easy game. Good point, Lauren. Very good point, Lauren McQuaig says we don't have the luxury to see what coaches are seeing in practice and the gym, etc. Coaches are constantly evaluating all positions. It's why, for example, we saw Bates late in the game. Yeah. I had no doubts about Bates. Not one. Not one. Whiskey Neat has a question for everybody. He wants to know if we win an extremely close game today, do the Lions go down in the power rankings, and by how much? Yeah, I'd say as long as they continue to win, they're fine. And shout out to Stephen A. putting the Lions on the block at number 1 this week. And initially he had the Packers at number 5, but he said that was a mistake, that the Packers are not even in the top 5. It's the Vikings still in the top 5. And Casey says power rankings are like a fart in the wind. That's funny. That's funny. All right, let's talk about Josh Paschal, because this one, to me, I wish I would have had a little bit more information before I put out, the Josh Paschal injury thing and the update. Because this one, obviously, it just has a little bit more meaning for me. I know what he's up against. And anybody that's gone through cancer knows what he's up against. It's that never knowing and every day always asking and questioning, is it going to come back? And whatever he's got going on, like, we don't have full details. And not that I need full details of his personal medical life. I certainly don't. But if what he's going through, hey, we got another cool streamer in their house. Guess what? You can exit your way stage left right out of this channel. We won't ever see you again. Peace out. We'll never know the full detail of what he's going through. And I guess what I would say is, I feel for you, Paschal. I really do, because whatever you're going through right now, it's not easy. And your health will always rise above the game of football. I've said it time and time and time again. Look, there's the game of football, and then there's what's outside the white lines. And what I've learned this past year, this past summer, spending that week with the NFLPA, or the NFLPA, the PFUFA family is what I would call them, and how the extension of football beyond the white lines is there, and it's there for a reason, to do the work in the community. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be another extension beyond the game to do the work in the community with the Rock Down Cancer Foundation, because I mean, there's players in this game that, you know, that are battling things too. You know, this all has meaning. I don't want to see, you know, I would never want to see somebody like, you know, Josh Paschal, who's, you know, tough as they all come, right, to put his health at risk for the game, for the fans. And I would hope nobody is trolling him or making fun of him, or, you know, I've seen stupid stuff pop up on social media, you know, like, it's just not needed. The guy's going through stuff. It's a little bit different than, you know, going through an ACL or, you know, a sprained MCL or a high ankle sprain. This is cancer. It's totally different. The other stuff you can get beyond. Cancer, sometimes you can't. For a lot of people, they haven't. So, Josh, man, your health obviously is more important. And you're in my heart today, man. Whatever you're doing today, you're in my heart today. Let's keep pushing forward. So what's on everybody's mind today? What do you think our biggest opportunities are? And what do you think our biggest improvement should be that we take out of this game today? Obviously, we need a W. I don't think that that's any sort of a, you know, big shocker. We need a W today. We have to stay on top of the North, and we can't let it go. For me, I want to see Tim Patrick involved early and often. This is going to be a Titans defense that is not going to have a very good backfield, you know, at all. I mean, I'm talking Gunner, not you. What do you need, buddy? Apparently it's time for the dog to go outside. Give me 1 sec. All right. You're looking at a backfield today that is, I mean, it's depleted. Their starting corner, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., was questionable coming into this game. And next to him, you're going to have Darrell Baker Jr. And in the backfield, you've got Quandre Diggs, so a familiar face. He can play some ball still. He's a little bit at the end of his career, but then you got Amani Hooker at strong safety. This is not a fierce defensive backfield by any means. By any means. So I think that this is going to be a passing game early, and then I think it's going to be, I mean, they'll always try to establish the run first. But I think it's going to be a passing game early. They're going to get rolling, they're going to get up, and then I think they're going to sit back. And the Lions are going to pin their ears back in the running game and just let loose. And I think that's what we're going to witness today. I think that we're going to put up a ton of yards on the ground. Now, I know I didn't put out my picks this week. It's just been one of those weeks. So I will try to get it up if I can before the game. I'll have like maybe a half hour by the time this ends before the next stream starts to be able to get it up. But I wanted to take a look at some of the team reports for just a moment. Offensive line rankings. And why we shouldn't be as concerned this week with our depleted defensive line. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, so number one on the list, obviously, is the Detroit Lions. You know, last week there was a little bit of issues with Coyote Iwasaka, you know, early in the game, but this week we have Kevin Zeitler back in the game. So not worried about our offensive line whatsoever. It is business as usual. But for the Tennessee Titans, let me find out exactly where they're ranked. How many of you are going to the game today? Are you guys all sitting at home right now? Or wherever you are? Man, where is the Tennessee Titans? Where are they? There. They actually lost a spot, so they are ranked 31st in the league right now. They've got left tackle J.C. Latham. I believe he is a rookie, and he's a damn good one, too. Peter Skoronski from last year, I want to say he was a top 10 pick So the Tennessee Titans are building, right? They're in this quasi rebuild mode. Lloyd Cushenberry, their center. We know that Petty Ferrer is out. But Lloyd Cushenberry, their center, I believe they picked him up this season. I think he was with the Ravens last year, if my memory serves me correctly. And then right guard Dylan Radunes. So this is not, an offensive line that we really need to worry about. I think that this is a good opportunity for the Lions to really show what they have this deep in their roster. Now, J.C. Latham, their left tackle, so the primary protector for Mason today. Pass blocking grades about a 70.4 overall. And up against a couple of decent defenses. The New York Jets, he had a really good game. Against Green Bay, he had a really good game. And against Miami, he had a really good game. Even against Buffalo, he had a really good game. So you don't know what we're going to get out of this guy. Let's see. Run blocking. He's got a little bit of trouble. He's averaging a 56.9, but the last several weeks, he's just been playing terrible. So I'm not expecting a whole lot out of him today in the run fits. Audio's a bit low. Here, let me try to fix that. I put a whole bunch of new assets in, and so I could have screwed something up. Oh, yeah, it's low. There we go. Thanks for letting me know. I turn it down. See, in my headphones, it sounds loud. So J.C. Latham, look, he's young, right? He's a first round pick, number 7 overall this season. 6'6", 335. So he's got big size, man, but he's a rookie. Someone is going to have to be able to take advantage of a rookie today. But who is that going to be? I mean, when you look at the Detroit Lions depth chart, hold on. It's nice having an old dog that kind of listens. Just open up the doors and let him go. So where was I at here? J.C. Latham. He's young, and someone is going to have to be able to take advantage of that today. And I'm just not sure who that's going to be. Is it going to be James Houston? Is it going to be Isaac Ukwu, who's also very young? Al Quad Muhammad? I mean, I think our most seasoned guy, you're probably looking at Isaiah Thomas and Al Quad Muhammad today, that they could potentially have a little bit bigger of a game. Al Quad Muhammad has been around since when? 2017? 2018? I think 2017. And he's got some game action. So I think that there's some opportunity. I think there's some opportunity for him when he gets in today to have some success on that side of the line. Who else do we have? Mekhi Wingo, rookie. But can he have some success when he gets his chance on the outside? Possibly. They've got Pat O'Connor listed as a defensive end for some reason, which I don't understand, but shouldn't be. Isaiah Thomas. Now, he's only been in the league for 2 seasons now, and he did get a little bit of game action. Not a ton, but he did get a little bit of game action in 2022. So this is his 3rd season. But this is somebody that, both Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell both liked, coming out of the draft. I just don't think that he's benefited from having, the defensive structure, the coaching staff, the positional coaching, a defensive line coach like, Tara Williams coaching him up. And I think it's all it's going to take is for him to just get coached up a little bit and he'll be able to be fine. Now, if we look back at the interior defensive line for Tennessee Titans today, let's start with the right guard, Dylan Radunes. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Now, he was a round 2, number 53 overall selection in 2021. So This is his fourth season. And overall, he's a 59.3. 59.2 in run block is 62.9 in pass block. So I'm expecting Lee McNeil to tear apart this guy today. To be honest with you, I think that Lee McNeil is probably going to go off for at least 2 sacks. I think that DJ Reader's probably going to get a sack today. Now, Mason can move. So if our defensive ends can't maintain the edge today for whatever reason, and Mason is able to escape the pocket, skirt outside a little bit, and work with his legs, then you're not going to get as much interior pressure. But I'm expecting for AG to do something very similar to what he did last week. Have the ends contain, you get the rush up the middle and you send a linebacker. Just not excited about the Tennessee Titans, offensive structure that they're heading into this week. I feel like the Lions are kind of been gift wrapped a little bit. And, the more I thought about the fact that Jameson Williams should have probably, appealed that, I guess, with all the information that we were not given, probably would have had a good opportunity. But then again, the whole point of him appealing in my, from my standpoint was that, he wouldn't miss any division games at all if he would have appealed. The way that it would have lined up, even if he would have lost, it would have been the same punishment and he wouldn't have missed any division games. So this game against the Titans, it's a very good game to miss. Next week against the Packers, I don't think that's a good game to miss, but today we get a fresh look at the rest of our wide receiver group, and they are going to get a fresh opportunity to be able to, show Jared Goff what they can do. Which anytime you get more opportunity with Jared Goff, I think that we all know how that works to the receiver's benefit when Jared can trust you a little bit. So anyway, like I was talking about here with the guard, Dylan Radune's just not a good guard. He's had a lot of trouble. And even though our defensive line is fairly depleted, I still think it's one of the stronger interior defensive lines in the league. And, if you're good on the inside and so on the outside, well, how do you make up for it? Well, I think that Trevor Nowaski has been, that really bright spot that we've seen show up last week against the Vikings. Had a crazy good game. So I'm not as concerned. All right, the other guy, Peter Skoronski. Now, this is not an easy assignment. Peter Skoronski is a damn good player. I just don't know how good of a season is he having. Not great. Overall on offense, 63.4. Run block, 66.3. And then pass block, 63.9. Now, I don't live and die by the PFF grades. You have to watch tape on these guys. But he's only been in the league now his second season. So if you're going to tell me that DJ Reader or Lee McNeil don't know just a few extra tricks and can't reach a little bit deeper into their bag today, do a little bit of stunting on Peter and the other dude, Dylan, get him mixed up a little bit, get that center off of his anchor, if you will. I believe that the Lions can have some opportunity here. Lloyd Cushenberry, he's been around the league a minute. So Lloyd Cushenberry's not having a great season. Now, he's been around since 2020. He was drafted by the Denver Broncos, round 3, 83 overall. 6'4", 315, so good size. And I do expect the Lions to really make his day difficult. So you're probably going to see DJ Reader more lined up, I would say, between the center and the right guard. And he's going to attack that gap pretty hard today. And then we're probably going to throw a linebacker in between, probably in between DJ Reader and the right defensive end is where I'm guessing that the Lions are going to have a little bit more opportunity today. If they're going to want to penetrate this offensive line and not just kind of sit back and make plays. If they really want to get some pressure, I think that's the way that they're going to be able to do it. They'll be able to have some success. They absolutely will be able to have some success. So our defensive line versus their offensive line, I'm still giving the Lions the edge here, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Let's talk about our offense for a minute. Or let's talk about our offense versus their defense for a minute here. So, like I said, the biggest issue for the Titans is they don't really have a backfield. They don't have a defensive backfield today. Chibodi Awuzie has been on IR, and now L'Jarius Sneed has been ruled out. So they are going to have to heavily rely on Roger McCreary, Quandre Diggs, and Amani Hooker. They're three, safeties, slash nickelback. And we'll start with Roger McCreary. They're nickelback. So he's going to probably have a primary assignment with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And from what I'm seeing, has he really not played? No, can't be. There we go. 63 overall. And in coverage, 66.8. When he is targeted, he's letting up about a 70.8 reception percentage, which that's not terrible. That's actually pretty decent. He's letting up a passer rating of 93.1. And again, that's not terrible. It's a bit above average. But going up against a dynamic passing attack like we have, I don't think that McCreary is going to be able to hang at all. Now, he's only been in the league. This will be his third season. Philippines On Demand says, Josh Uche from the Patriots is a healthy scratch today, possibly being moved. Could be. That would make sense. I just don't know that it would be. I don't know that it would be the Lions. Josh Uche is more of a linebacker. If I remember correctly, the Patriots run a 3-4. But if he's going to play linebacker, then it doesn't matter. As far as defensive end, I think that if we're going to pull in a defensive end, I think that the Lions are going to look for direct replacement, which would mean we have a 6'7", 270-pound guy, a 6'5", 270-pound guy that, are missing, and now Josh Paschal, which he'll be back, but, you're talking 6'5", 6'6", 6'7 guys, big end, right, and then a speed end that are missing. So I think if you're looking for direct replacement, I think the Lions are probably looking for bigger guys that play, in a 4-3 scheme or have the flexibility like the Jadeveon Clowney, which I know Jadeveon Clowney's not. I know he's not a sexy option for a lot of people, but it's the contract. It's, the early out next year. It's the direct, replacement size 1-for-1. And he still does play at a pretty high level, even though he's on the outs of his career as far as age-wise. He's more of that 1-year rental. We hope to get Aiden back, and then we're not going to give up a ton of draft capital, so we can bring somebody in next year through the draft, which is, I guarantee you, Brad is going to take somebody in the draft. I would bet just about anything on it, to be honest with you. We're going to bring somebody in through the draft. I just think it's the time. When you look at the roster roulette, that I put together, which is just my theory, it makes a lot of sense. I don't miss a whole lot, but I do miss too. So we'll see next year. April, be here for the draft party, or be with us in Green Bay. I might want to go up to Green Bay and take part in that whole shit show that's about to go on in Green Bay. It's going to be bad. Everyone bring a tent, because I don't know where you're going to be staying in Green Bay. I don't know if there's some farmers out there, man. They'd be smart right now and just start, buying those little single, what are they called? Erts. Just buy a bunch of erts, man, on some farm field. Just put up like 500 to 1,000 erts. Charge $250 a night. You're good to go. You could probably charge more than that, but that's what I would do. So anyway, Quandre Diggs, his better years are behind him. They really are. He's been around the league now, 9-10 seasons. Still a damn good safety. He was somebody that I was not up against, as far as if the Lions were going to bring in a safety this year. I was not against, seeing somebody like Quandre come back home and finish out his career in Detroit. He just has not had the greatest of seasons. Tackling, he's still doing great. Overall defensive score is 68.7. His coverage is 65.5. But he's letting up a passer rating of 135.8. So if you don't think that the Lions are not going to try to get deep with Tim Patrick today and some deeper routes and getting into the safeties, I would say that would be a mistake if they didn't, because Quandre right now is not stopping anything. I mean, he can't even stop a bloody nose with a tampon. So you need to get on Quandre today. Absolutely. Got to get on him. Yeah, so Casey, but next year Clowney has no guaranteed money. So it'd be an easy out. At least the way I read it on OTC, no guaranteed money. So you could walk away and own nothing. So yeah, it's a very cheap rental. Very, 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 very cheap rental. And look, we don't need, as far as defensive end, we don't need someone that, costs $25 million. We don't need someone that is at the top of the list, right? We just don't. We need, and I think that we've proven that. I think Brad and Dan have proven that they don't need top tier, top flight players. They're taking 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and UDFA guys and turning them into pretty darn good players. Now, we don't have the benefit of bringing in a player like that right now and trying to coach him up right away and having him ready. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is probably the only one, because he's got, a few years under his belt already. But, Isaac Wuku and players like that, they take a little bit of time. So we just need someone that can be responsible. Like I said in the video the other day, someone that can just be responsible and play disciplined football. And as long as we can do that, the rest of the guys can, between Aaron Glenn and the rest of the defense, Aaron Glenn will figure out a scheme that works. And I'm all for what Aaron Glenn's been doing. He has been in his bag all season. I know that some of the numbers don't speak to it, but I think if you look past some of the numbers and you look at the situation that the Lions have been in, playing from a lead, that's why some of those numbers exist on the back end as far as the passing game. So lastly here, let's talk about Amani Hooker. Oh, we got one more to talk about, Brownlee too. So Amani Hooker, he's letting up, really low, 33.6 passer rating. So he's also getting a few snaps. I mean, he's averaging, probably 90% of the snaps. So Amani Hooker is their best safety. He's been around for a minute. Hey, another streamer that doesn't realize you are stupid. It doesn't work, buddy. It just doesn't work. Bye. See ya. Anyway, he's their best safety. He's probably their best overall player right now in the backfield. So he's going to be somebody that's probably going to want to take a bigger assignment. He may be moved down. You might see more single high safety today with Amani down, and up on the line, taking a response, taking some sort of you got to love those streamers, right? Or scammers, I should call them. He'll probably be down, taking more of an assignment on, and you might see Quandre up top. I'm not sure, but I would guess that they're probably going to try to utilize Amani in a role today to help their cornerbacks, because they're depleted. They're hurting. But he's pretty darn good safety. I would say he's their best overall DB right now as far as today. And then lastly, Brownlee. So questionable coming into the day. He's going to play, obviously. He's letting up an 83.5 passer rating, about 57% reception rate. Pretty good tackler at times, but when he misses, he misses. When he has a bad day, he has a bad day. As far as I didn't talk about interceptions or anything with anybody else, but he doesn't have any INTs. He only has 3 pass breakups on the entire season. His average rank in coverage is 68.5. Tackling 37.8, which it doesn't make sense to me, because he has a lot of games where he's missed 0. So I don't understand that algorithm from PFF. Overall defensive grade 67.7. So when you look at the defensive backfield overall for the Tennessee Titans, I mean, you're talking a 65 to 68 PFF grade across the board. It's not great. We don't have any, big name players. Like if I were to look up Brian Branch right now, Brian Branch is the top safety in the league. Overall PFF grade 91.7. 91.7. He's letting up a passer rating of 41.3. Reception rate of 61.9. He has really just stood up this year. and said, hey, look at me. Like, I can do this. I can do it from the nickel spot. I can do it from the strong spot, the free spot. I can do it from any spot on the field. Put me in, coach. I can do it. Love Brian Branch, man. Definitely on the watch list this season, as is Jared Goff, for best players at the respective positions. Jared Goff is in the MVP talk. And I was actually quite surprised to hear that from Stephen A. Smith yesterday. And Eric and I spoke about it on Friday. Is it Lamar again, or is it Jared Goff? And I understand where people talk about Lamar being able to make plays with his legs, but there's nobody that's doing what Jared Goff is doing right now. Nobody. He is just picking apart defenses, and he's been doing it, week in and week out with different offensive lines, different players banged up at different times, and just playing at a high level. Jared Goff is definitely in this race. Without a doubt. The rest of our defensive backfield here. Let's talk about Kirby Joseph. I don't expect the Titans to do much today. I really don't. Could be surprised. Like I said, this is walking up to be, one of those games where it's like a trap door and you fall through because you undercut your assignment. You don't put as much energy into it. You feel like it's a win. And those are the ones that bite you. But I don't think that this Dan Campbell-led team would ever do that. If anything, I feel like they're going to approach this game like, okay, if they're that weak, let's just go spank them. Let's go put a 70 burger on them. Who cares? Let's just embarrass the crap out of them then. I don't know why, teams shy away from doing that. Just go drop as many points as you can. Who cares if they call you classless, right? Like Governor Christie did against Dan Campbell. This is a game of football. Go win. And put as many points up as you can. But be smart about it. Pull all your starters out at some point. Now, Kirby, standing on his own 2 feet this season, 28 passer rating against. 28. Reception rate, 42.9. Overall, he's at 86.8. So you've got 2 combined safeties that are at the top of the league as far as scores are considered. But they're just not letting anything up. And then that's what blows my mind about, how many yards we're letting up. Well, that's all happening underneath them because they're not letting up a ton of yards at all. Between Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, no, they're not letting up a ton of yards at all. If anything, they're snagging balls out of the air. Yeah, Kirby on the St. Brown pod. I have not listened to that one yet, but I've listened to Kirby on a few other podcasts. Oh, he's just a joy to listen to. Him and Melifonwu. They both really, really fun to listen to. Brent Lighton says, I feel like last year's Thanksgiving game was the only let-up game during the Dan Campbell era. We had kicked their behind the first game and didn't respect them. Yeah, that was a tough, what, 12 days? We had 3 games or something like that. That was tough. Riley O'Brien says, Will, are you leaning more towards the Lions dominating now? Sounds like you've leaned more into that outcome. I think so. After seeing the full injury report now for the day and them losing another corner. Hey, another stupid scammer streamer. Guess what? It does not work. And the more you come into this stream, this means I have less work to do on the next stream because you guys are not going to be able to come back. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm leaning, Riley. I feel like now that, L'Jarius Sneed is out, I think that added a whole new level of the Lions just kind of really being able to do whatever they want to do today on the offense. It's just, is our defense going to be able to slow them down? Double-digit win, I do think it's possible now. I do. And it could be, it could be bad, but it could be bad to say that, I would say that we shouldn't lose or we shouldn't win by less than 10 because you just don't know what the Lions are going to do today. You don't. They could just run the ball all day and chew up the clock, and there just might not be a whole lot of scoring to go around because they're not doing, quick 3 and 4, play drives and getting in the end zone like they did last week. So it all depends on what their overall game plan is today. That they just want to get in, get the win, and get out, make it be as uneventful as possible, try to limit as much opportunity for injury because we've got enough. I think all of those things kind of come into play, but some of that stuff can't come into play until you got a lead. Does that make sense? So I think we have to get a lead, and that's why I'd love to see us just, sit back, Jared Goff, first play of the game, shotgun, and just let it loose and just put them on their heels. Second down, run the ball. If you don't complete it on first down, third down, pass it, and just get up into the red zone and score, quickly as possible. I wouldn't even want to screw with it. And I can see it already. You're probably going to have David Montgomery back there to start the game, and it's going to be a handoff. I think everyone's expecting that. But I'd rather see him try something different. Let's do play action pass off the first play because everyone's expecting us to run the ball. So play action pass off the first play, whether you're in shotgun or not, and just get that ball downfield. I think that we've got enough players today on the offensive side of the ball to kind of command, whatever type of offense we want to run. But yeah, to your point, Riley, I had to see the final report. That's why I scheduled this at 11:30 today and not, 10 o'clock like I did last time. Welcome everybody in the chat today. Thank you for getting the likes up. If I've got ads on, let me shut those down real quick. You guys always do a good job. Let's just get it above 50. If you haven't liked the stream, do us a kind favor and like it. I just turned the ads off. Helps us get out to more Lions fans, helps us earn more subscriptions. And speaking of subscriptions today, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Don't go anywhere. All right, so everybody that stayed in the stream, because we're going to be ending here in just a few minutes, it is going to be... Well, I got to fix something. My bad. One second. Don't go anywhere. I gotta add something real quick. Where is it? Where is it? Come on. Just trying to find this one asset that I got to throw up on the screen real quick. There it is. Okay. The question is, where did I just put it? You guys can't see it. Why can't you guys see it? All right. Well, it's going to be pop-up. It's pop-up time for the mini helmet. So we've got one to give away for the, this is a Chris Spielman, old school edition. Chris Spielman, helmet he used to wear. Signed a certificate of authenticity from Pro Sports Zone. And it's pop-up helmet giveaway. We've got two to give away because I believe we're about to, if you guys have not subscribed, the reason why we do this is whenever we hit an extra 500 subscribers, we give away mini helmets. And that's what we're doing right now. So let me just double check to see if we've hit the other mark today. We're pretty close. We are only 14 subscribers away from giving out a second helmet today. And I will do it today. So if you are in this stream right now, you have an opportunity to win this just by being here. And if you have not subscribed, I would smash that subscribe button. Let's get another helmet given away today. This does require an address. You're going to have to email me an address so I can ship it out. So the way I do this is I'm just going to spin this puppy on the back end, and wherever it lands is whoever wins it. So it's completely random. On the back side here, let me get into my live chat mode. All right, let's see who's in here today. Got quite a few people in. We got Trace in here today. We got DLR Van Halen, Riley O'Brien. If you're not in the chat, you can't win. You've got to be in the chat. Eric Myers, Pat Beach, Detroit versus everybody. Let's go. Sorry, but all these scammer streamers, you don't get a chance to win. Vincent Soames is in the house today. Mike P's in the house. Whiskey Neat, probably having a couple neat ones today, maybe after the win. He's on Woodward all day. There you go. Let's see. Mark Baylor's in the house. Lauren McQuaig, Casey. Now, Lauren, I've tried to send you stuff in the past. Are you out on the opportunity here? We got Frank Bishop in the house. Detroit Fan Man. Jody Carruthers. Richard Fitzwell. We got Maddie B. Joe Schmo. Casey. Yeah, I think he was just saying he's on Woodward today, just like on the street, maybe, Woodward Street, partying, having a good time. Brent Lighton's in the house. Richard, I think I already said your name. We got Moonscar Blade in here. BD Buster. All right, I'm just going to roll it. If you're not in the stream by now, it's too late because we got to end it, and I've got to get to the next stream here at 1 p.m. This will redirect to the next stream at 1 p.m. We're going to go live for the game. And I think that, I'm probably just not going to be able to make dinner today with Gio and Paul Orzetti, which sucks. But is what it is, man. Got to feel good enough to be able to entertain people, right? All right, here we go. I'm just gonna roll it, and wherever my mouse ends, that's who wins. All right, close my eyes. Not even gonna look. Just gonna keep on rolling, and it is Trace. Trace won again. Get out of here. Here, I'll even take a picture of it. That's where it ended. Trace, this has got to be like your second or third helmet. I don't remember. She won on a Facebook thing, and then I think she won one here. So Trace won. Congratulations. So for the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do the wheel spin. So I'll be collecting names throughout the stream, and I'm not even going to tell you that I'm doing it. And then I'm just going to pop it up, and then we'll do it that way. That way I can collect some names and give everybody an opportunity that way, do something a little bit different. It just takes a lot to set those things up. So that's it for this pregame show, if you want to call it that. Little information to you guys today about what's going on with the inactives, kind of where I see things fitting today for the Lions. I do think that this is going to be a big Lions win. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say that the Lions are not going to quite put up 40, but I think that there's a possibility. I think there's a possibility that they could. So I'm going to change my score. I had a different score in Friday's show. It's going to be Lions 37, Titans. I don't even dare give them 17 points. I'm going to go Titans 13. So there it is, 37-13. Lions win. I'll see you guys back here at 1 p.m. for the main event. Take care. Go Lions. We'll see you back here shortly.